you are getting an update on what are my goals, my intentions, and what's the plans for 2023. Let's dive in. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Now, we're going to dive straight into it here. We're here to talk about the goals for 2023. Now, if you've been following my journey, you know that I love to share goals each year. And if you are new here, hey, how you doing? My name's Chris, and I like to do a lot of things on this channel. We're here to talk about goals, and it's not in the cliche sense of new year, new me, but it is a new year and it is new goals. Now, I talk about this a lot on my podcast, Healthier Lifestyle, where when we are going about setting goals, we need to make sure we do follow some systems and processes to enable us to get the best year yet in terms of results. Now, I've been reflecting on the last year of 2022, all of January. I usually take some time to just reflect and see what do I actually want to achieve, and actually how far I came for the year before. Now, if we quickly reflect on how 2022 went, well, that year it really threw me off, because I went into that year feeling more motivated than ever, because it was officially 1 year since I had stepped away from the 9 to 5 and took a chance on myself to pursue my, goals, dreams, hobbies, and all that jazz. And at the same time, I was flying. I was getting some really good progress in some really different areas across the business, across running, YouTube, all these great things. And then I got slapped in the face by a spicy cough, which kind of threw me off, because I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to hang around for 12 weeks either. And that meant I had to adjust, and I had to, take a big breath and see, how am I going to achieve what I wanted to achieve. After that, I then had to refine my groove, and through that process, I was able to re-identify, I guess, new ways of how I was going to operate, simply because I realized what's important and what's not. And, clarity like that really does make a huge difference when you are trying to execute. But in short, it was a roller coaster. Like many things in life, life is a roller coaster itself, but like with running a business, like with trying to build a YouTube channel, all those things, even a podcast, it's a roller coaster ride, but that is the ride, and you got to enjoy it. So to be frank, I failed about 70%, probably a little bit more, of all my goals of 2022. Yet, I felt more accomplished than ever. And that's the good story about it, because sometimes we forget how far we can come, how far we can go. Even if we don't hit our goals, it doesn't mean you did not grow, and it doesn't mean that you aren't good enough. It just means that you didn't hit the goal, but you're probably further than you ever imagined in the first place. And this has been a huge part of how I've been assessing and reflecting on 2022 and how I want to move forward into 2023. Aside from getting it done being the main theme for what I want to focus on for this year, that's a bit fluffy, and I really want to help you understand what do I mean by that and how my approach has changed for 2023. In doing so, I've set a few different pillars of focus that I want to leverage to help me actually achieve what I want to achieve this year. And these pillars will vary, but they're basically focus areas of driving force that will enable me to get to where I want to be. And they're areas in which I want to grow and progress with, because naturally the byproduct of these should be the results I'm looking for. Basically, these pillars are systems and batching, flow state enablement, doing the work, continuous improvement, learning through application. A lot of crossovers here and how they all kind of work together as one ecosystem, but I think as I continue to do more of these things, the more progress I'll make. Now, again, with all goals and anything that people say, I'm going out to do this, I'm going to achieve that, it's always easier to just put them out there. It's easy to say them, it's easy to write them down, but I still got to do the work. I'm the one that is accountable for that. I am the one that is responsible for that. Of course, you can keep me accountable and call it out when you think things aren't going to work, but at the end of the day, I set goals because I set ambition. I want to make progress. And last year, even though I missed a lot of my goals, I got further than I had ever been in a lot of areas. And that's because I was working my butt off to trying to get to where I wanted to be. And along the way, you have to learn. Along the way, you have to grow. Along the way, you get experience. And along the way, you realize what needs to change, what do you need to be doing, or what haven't you been doing. So these are actually the goals that I'm focusing on. And I'll be exploring these and revisiting these across the entire year. And I'll touch a little bit more on terms of the details below. But this is in short. And this is in no particular order. I'm going to be revisiting the reseller dashboard. Now, that was a huge area that I failed on last year in 2022. For those that don't know, I did introduce a reseller dashboard, the one that I use for myself, for my business, and I didn't get it out. Now, there was a whole bunch of different reasons around this, but essentially I need to slim it down. I need to make it simple, not stupid, but keep it simple, stupid for you guys and other people that are using it. And the tool I designed was for me, for what I want. It's not a tool that was going to work naturally just off the cuff for anyone that came in and picked it up. So there needs to be some adjustments there. And there's a bit of a twist that's happening with this because I'm working with someone else. I want to do some deeper exposure into the Pokemon card space. Now, I've been alluding to this a few different areas, and I have touched on this ever since I took a stab at, taking a journey on myself or taking a chance on myself. And I have had Pokemon cards as a key part of this channel. However, there'll be a bit of a change to that, the Pokemon card stuff, and I do want to launch a business with it. So that will be one area that I'm trying to dabble in a bit more. I want to slingshot my own business growth. I released a video at the start of this year. I'm quitting reselling and I'm focusing purely on small business mindset. And that is the intent. I want to slingshot the business. I want to have that business flying. And of course, that takes a lot of work, but it also takes a lot of leverage, and it also means setting things up in the right way to enable it to slingshot. I will continue to grow the Further Your Lifestyle brand around podcasting, coaching, and mastermind, build my YouTube community. One topic of area that I really want to focus on is just running free and feeling free while running. Last year, there was a bit of a slog there when I did have the spicy cough, but I want to refine that freedom. So to top all of this, I've, revisited my vision that I have over the next 2 to 5 years, in which I'll be using to help motivate me, keep me honest, and push me towards where I want to be. And that little North Star that I've created for the next 2 to 5 years is to remove the need to work to earn, but rather earn based on the actions I do regardless. Obviously, I do work hard. We all work hard. Anything that I do usually has a result, whether it's good or bad. The reality is, if you want something, you got to do the work for it. However, you've got to have a lot of fun along the way. And how do I make this journey as exciting as possible? By documenting it, by sharing it, by just experiencing it and taking it as a big lesson. And that's really what I want to make sure I'm doing, is not trying to trade my time for money, but doing stuff that I would be doing anyway, and let that create the money that I need to live the life that I want. So let's put some numbers together. Let's put some details behind all these areas. This is what some people are probably here waiting for. For business, I have 3 goals that I'm tackling for milestone growth. And I've already talked about this. First one is to hit 100K revenue. Second one is 160K revenue. And third, which I'll say is beast mode, is to unlock $250,000 in revenue. Now, this is very ambitious. This is over the top compared to last year, but as I said, I'm trying to put in some different things in place to really slingshot the business and working on pushing that hard. Whether I get to 100, whether I get to 160, whether I get to 250, whether I get to more, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm doing better and I'm progressing, that's really what matters. And there'll be a lot more sub layers of how this can be achievable, which I'll be talking about on a weekly basis as I continue to grow that business. And this is for my reselling business, essentially. And again, focusing on small business mindset. The next one is around the podcast and Further Your Lifestyle. I'm still on the journey to 10,000 downloads. That's really the focus, continue to get to there. I do want to look at outsourcing production or seeing how I can cut out some time there. And I'm going to be launching my round 2 of coaching. The first round of that was back at the end of 2022, in the lead up of coming into the new year of 23. I'll be launching the next round of coaching, which will probably come around March. And then I want to build an ongoing clientele, work with some people, helping them stay accountable and helping them level up. YouTube, the big old YouTube, that's why you're here. So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked, make sure you do. I really do appreciate it. But seriously, I appreciate everyone watching my videos and I appreciate the community that I've created. And that's really what I want to grow this year, is the community, continue to grow the community. I am going for expanding the channel as well. I want to hit 2,000 subscribers and then on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Now, I have actually been alluding to this quite a bit in some of my different conversations across my videos around, I've got memberships, right? And a few people are in those memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. There's a basic tier, which basically, it's just to support me. And then there is a bit more expensive tier, which is around $15 a month. And that one currently isn't being utilized by, there is one person which is supporting me. I thank you for that. But the idea is to have a few people in that, and I'll be introducing monthly group calls where we'll just be hanging out, asking questions. If you need some help with some things, whether that's with the business, whether it's with life, whatever, it's just a small snippet and it's a way to give back for those that are helping support the channel on that greater level. So if you're interested in that, you can check out a video here, and also you can go to the link down below and sign up if you want. If you're interested, no pressure. Now, the running space. Now, this is my pride and joy. I mean, I love running, not for the exercise, but it's my escape. And last year I got to my highest peak, and then that's when I got slapped with the spicy cough. So I want to revisit that and see if I can get back up to there, if not above. I want to be continued to doing consistent half marathons again. I really love half marathons. I love that as a just a way to challenge myself each month. So I'll be aiming for 12 of these at least for the 2023. I'll be back to do my 50k for 2023. Obviously I didn't get to do that in 2022 simply because things didn't go as planned and I had to take, you know, that 12 weeks off, but I'll be back this year chasing that, pursuing that. I'll be doing the documenting, sharing the training, all that jazz, like per usual. Excited for that one. And then the other thing to top it off is I'll be back to aiming for around 2,000 kilometers by the end of the year. A little bit behind at the moment just because I am still finding my groove and I haven't really gotten into that groove just because it feels like a slog. I haven't found myself with my running space. However, I did do a zippy run the other day and I think I've nailed it. So usually I'm coming off the back of 2 bays, which I am this year, and it means I'm also thinking about what do I want to achieve for the year. So I usually take some pressure off the running for January and just, you know, take a step back and slow down and just enjoy myself. So now I need to get serious and start to really get that volume happening. Now there's other areas in how I'll be measuring those. So I do want to launch another business around the Pokemon space. I am working on some new types of investments with some friends and some other people. And again, I'm back here to complete 6 video games at least. And I'm also going to be focusing on doing 12 books again, reading 12 books. And as I said, I will be working on reintroducing the reseller spreadsheet, and I'm working with someone else on this one to make it more legitimate in the sense that it's relevant to those that would want to be using it. So there you go, that is my ambitions and intent for 2023. Come along for another year, for another roller coaster ride, I guess, of lessons and learnings. Now, if you've got questions, comments along the way, by all means, please reach out, continue to ask questions, continue to, you know, ask me, how am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I want to be challenged. I want to be encouraged as well. I'm going to need it. But most of all, I hope you've set some goals for yourself. Don't be overwhelmed by goal setting. You know, I do have a video on this from my podcast if you need some help with setting goals. But the reality is goals help us and enable us to grow. And you should leverage that, because if you're not going to do anything, the time's going to pass regardless. So you may as milk that, get some lessons, get some experience, and see how far you can go after that period of time, whether it's 1 month, whether it's 6 months, whether it's a year or 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. But don't overwhelm yourself. I know I've already spoken about the goals, and I've already given the insight of what I want to achieve this year, but I wanted to re-emphasize that the only way things get done is when you get out and get them done. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, that progression, the learning, the experience, and just everything you can take away from a situation, it speaks volumes and it will pay you dividends. So go on, get out there this year, make this year your best year yet. Appreciate you.